Have to go game by game. I know the league is so tough when you look at the results yesterday and today, and the margins that teams are winning matches for. It's super reduced. So we know that it's going to be a long journey. We are really excited what we're doing. We have to maintain that momentum. Enjoy today and tomorrow. Bayern Munich.
In the wake of a pretty awesome performance from Arsenal against Spurs in the big derby here, Arsenal have won by 4-1. Eberechi Eze got a hat-trick. And the very simple question for you, Gary, is how good are Arsenal?
Very good. A lot to like about them. I think that over the last few years they've been building towards obviously trying to win a title, and they haven't won that title yet, but they do a lot of things very well. And I think the narrative going into today's game, which I wasn't even entertaining sort of in the last 48 hours, is this, without Gabriel, or Gabriel's injured. No one's interested anymore. Arsenal fans aren't interested. Mikel Arteta is not interested. And what they've demonstrated again today is they've now got a squad that can cope without players being fit. And you know during a season, at the start of a season, you know that certain players are going to miss certain games. And so we've seen Nketiah come in today, slot in really comfortably. Mosquera's done it throughout the season. So don't let that narrative build. Nobody's interested in excuses. We heard last year he had no Saka, Ødegaard, the year before, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, no Saliba. No, now he's not that Arsenal team. The mentality is such that they've moved beyond that period whereby they sort of are looking for excuses or might think that it could impact them if a player's missing. They've got a really good squad. The drop-off between player number 1 in the team and player number 2 who comes in if that player's missing is small. Declan Rice would be a problem, but then he's an exceptional talent and someone who's very different. But today I thought they were excellent all over the pitch. I'm not an Arsenal fan, I'm not a Tottenham fan, but watching that first 25 minutes, I was almost willing Arsenal to sort of go and play and go and if he kept hearing me in that first 25, 30 minutes about pushing it through and not getting caught up in these safe passes. I think sometimes when you watch Arsenal, they dominate possession, they push up the pitch, they really sort of like sustain attacks and push teams in. But they recycle the ball at that point then sometimes too easy and take the safe option. I thought what they did well in that first half was they kept pushing it through into Eze, into Saka, into Trossard, because that's what Tottenham don't want you to do. And every time they did that, they caused problems. It wasn't a lot in the first half, but the 2 or 3 times they did it, they got through them. And Tottenham will come on to them obviously shortly, but they're a team waiting to get beaten by a very good Arsenal team, and that's what Arsenal did. And after what happened yesterday with Liverpool and with City, it was a much needed victory today, and they've sent a message to everybody in the league.
What struck me, and you're talking about Nketiah coming in specifically today for Gabriel and a player for every position or 2 players, when Madueke came on late, you thought, they've got him too, and Martinelli was back on the bench today, and Ødegaard is there, and Gabriel Jesus, we're told, isn't that far away.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Havertz and Gyökeres.
Exactly, and I'm looking at the way that team's performing and thinking, who are you leaving out of this team?
It's not only a squad that should go on and win the Premier League, and I'm not jumping ahead of myself here, it's a squad that I can see winning the Champions League in the next 2 or 3 years. Might not be this season, because sometimes when you go in to win your first Premier League, you become so consumed by that, and then you can sometimes get done in a European game in a midweek on a 2-legged tie. But they're getting to that level of performance and resilience and stability and consistency. You have to be consistent. It's a very consistent performing team, this one, that Mikel Arteta's got. And you're absolutely right. I mean, Trossard, who I thought was sensational today. I mean, Saka was as well, and so was Eze, but Trossard was fantastic. And he's been fantastic, I think, for most of the last couple of months. And he was the one, when you think of Madueke, Martinelli, Eze, Ødegaard, Saka, you're thinking, well, he's the one that's definitely going to fall away. He's the one that will be used maybe 10, 15 games this season, but he's pushed himself into a position. He's a really intelligent player. He knows how to play the position of left-sided forward, stroke midfield player. But Mikel Arteta, like I say, you've got players when you've got a squad that are really sort of pushing each other. Madueke looked really sharp when he came on. He didn't do much in terms of impacting the game, but you looked at him and thought, ooh, that's going to be dangerous. And you look at Eze, just looked at the end of the game like he looked Brazilian at the end of the game, Eze, when he was sort of wandering around the pitch. Beautiful to see that confidence in an English player. You think of Brazilians going around the pitch doing that, and South American players with their sort of mentality of sort of enjoying their football and their love of sort of what would be almost taking my podcast. They're not
Your podcast.
I've just said it, but he was at the end. He was a little bit, and yeah, it was brilliant to watch. I loved watching them, and that's the thing. I mean, the interesting thing is they've got Calafiore and Timber at fullbacks. Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ben White are probably better going forward. There's not much between Ben White and Timber. Miles Lewis-Skelly, I think, is obviously better than Calafiore going forward, but they've got real options at fullback, real options at centre-back. That's it. The only player you'd be slightly worried about losing for a period of time would be Declan Rice, because you can't replace that. That's your Roy Keane, that's your sort of Rodri. That's the player that sort of holds you together. That you know, there's only one of them. So you wouldn't expect there to be a situation, but they have got options if obviously he wasn't there, but he would never be able to replace the ability for him to be powerful on set pieces, his running, his tackling, his impacting the game going forward. Yeah, but really happy with Arsenal watching them this season. I like watching good teams play football. And I think at times, they've been a bit safe. And it was that Newcastle game, wasn't it, where I think Mikel Arteta just got the team balanced right. He went to Anfield and he played a game against City where I just thought he was a little bit handbrake on, and I accused him of that at the time. He's now getting that balance right of the flair in the team and the confidence. And it's the intent. It's the intent. Don't keep passing it back. Don't keep passing it sideways. You're better than that. You've got players up the top end of the pitch, probably 7 or 8 of them, by the way. Doesn't matter which of them play. You can pass it to these players when they're marked. You can give it to Saka with a 6'4" centre-half behind him. He'll hold the 6'4" centre-half off. He won't just hold him off. He'll roll him. He'll go one way, he'll go that way, and he'll take it inside. And that's what opens up the game. Passing the ball to players who are marked, who've got world-class ability, is what this Arsenal team need to have confidence to do. And I'm seeing that more and more, and particularly today. He didn't score from a set-piece today. In fact, to be fair, the set-piece is probably the worst I've seen from them. But their open play game today, which they've been accused of obviously lacking, it was really good, and that was good to see. And I think they'll get better, and they'll get more confident. Yeah, a lot to like about what Arsenal did today.
And just finally, I mean, we ought to ask you to give an appraisal, never mind the fancy stuff at the end, of Eze's game.
Look, before today, I think he had 2 goals in 15 matches. And he's going to play for Arsenal Football Club, that's had Perez and Bergkamp and Ian Wright and Henry and many, many more. So he's got to add numbers. And what he did today was really important. Impacting big games, scoring in big games. He's now got 5 in 16. He's now got 4 Premier League goals in 10 matches. They're the sort of numbers you have to hit if you're playing for Arsenal Football Club. And so what he's got to do is, we know he's a fantastic player. I think he's better in the 10. I love him in the 10. I love him in the 10 because I love Ødegaard in the 10, so it's 2 great options to have. But why I like him in the 10, I think he's got the ability to beat a man with the ball at his feet. And I think he's got the ability to sort of go and do something that's more unpredictable maybe than Ødegaard. Ødegaard's a beautiful player to watch. I think the rhythm in his game and the way in which he plays is fantastic. But I really like Eze in there because I think this Arsenal team just need to be a little bit more unpredictable in the final third. So when you've got Saka there, you've got Eze there, you've got obviously a centre forward, whoever that may be. It's going to be Gyökeres, Mourinho or Havertz. They're not the most flair. They're never going to be flair players, those 3 up front. So it's important to have them players around you. Obviously Trossard or Martinelli or Madueke can be the other one on the left. It's important to have that sort of excitement, that thrill, that idea that the team that you're playing against don't know what you're going to do and they're going to pop up in different areas, and he can, if it's tight, which it will be for Arsenal many times here when teams are behind the ball, he can go and beat a man with the ball at his feet. He can run without the ball and make runs in behind. So I like him as a 10. But those numbers are important. He's going to focus on that finishing. His finishes were really good today. A little bit of luck, I think, with the first one with the deflection. But his third one was beautiful. And he could have got a 4th as well. So really special day. Sometimes when a player signs for a club, it just feels right. And from the moment he walked out, as you said in the commentary, with that, with those jeans on, with that smile, and the Arsenal fans around him, it just felt warm. It felt good. And, you know, you think about a player who's so happy. His family, I think, were all with him as well. So, yeah, I think it is working, and it's going to work more. But what he just needs to do now is become a cold-hearted, ruthless killer in front of goal like he has been today. go and score goals, because that's where you'll be judged. If you're going to be a number 10 for this football club in a title-winning season and in a Champions League winning team, you're going to have to get up to that 15, 20 goals, and he can, and he will, I think.
And he scored the first hat-trick in this game since Alan Sunderland, who was famous, of course, for winning a cup final against Man United.
Don't mention Alan Sunderland
1979.
to a Manchester United fan, Peter. That's a swear word.
I remember watching that with my schoolmate.
OK, good morning to Tim Sherwood. Right, we know that was a huge win for Arsenal. Manchester City lost, so did Liverpool. They're 6 points clear, but that's actually of Chelsea now. They're only 12 games in, but you're getting the feeling that this title race might be close to being over.
Yeah, I thought it was a massive game of football. I really did. Not only for the 3 points, the emotion of a North London derby. I know what it's like myself, you know, how that can take you forward. They've got tough games coming up. Chelsea next week are the nearest challengers at the moment. And I think that it was just such a huge result. It stopped the noise, because the noise would have been, well, Gabriel's injured, you can't do it without him. You know, all the problems in the past where they haven't been able to deal with without Saliba, no Odegaard, Declan Rice missing a few times, haven't been able to cope. Now, they've coped this year. They've ticked every box. When someone's been missing and no striker, Marino plays up front, they go on and win. It's not only a win yesterday, it was a statement win. It was a footballing lesson what they give Tottenham yesterday. It was embarrassing. An abject performance from Tottenham, but incredible performance and more than 3 points. I know it's only 3 points on the table, but it's the confidence to know without the big man, the leader who was sitting in the stands there, you saw him with the Arsenal scarf on. For them to go, and Kepier comes in, that looks like, I mean, he didn't get tested, to be perfectly honest, but it just looked seamless. Their squad is so big now. They've got quality in all areas of the field. The only team, they can only shoot themselves in the foot, and I don't think they will do that now. And I said it at the weekend when I was on Soccer Saturday. If they win this game against Tottenham, they will win the Premier League, because they will go and beat Chelsea now. They will go on a run. I don't see them losing enough games. They're solid at the back. They score goals up front. When they can't score from open play, they score from set pieces. They've got a manager. The question marks would have been, well, they've never done it before. And I still say, you know, once it comes to March, April, there's always going to be question marks because they haven't done it. They haven't had that experience. But you have to do it sooner rather than later. And I think now's the time for them to do it. And when they actually do it, I think it's a problem for every other team, because this young side will go on and go on and go on, and they can dominate for years to come.
Is Eze now top class? Because when we talk about number 10s, just for England this is, you always say Bellingham, Foden, Palmer. Before you kind of mention Eze, you start thinking, oh, Eze could maybe play out left or something like that. Is Eze now in that bracket?
Yeah, I think we can get a bit carried away because he scored a hat-trick in North London derby. It's massive. It's massive for Eze. It's massive for Arsenal. But if you asked me before, who's the one of the most talented number 10s, an actual number 10 who's going to play in that central area, I would say Eze. I would say the guy's 6'3". He's quick. He plays off both feet. He's got everything. He's got the vision. You saw all the Declan Rice chance before they scored, and he just dinks it over the top. He's the most talented number 10, in my opinion, we have in England. If this boy cannot play if we're going to play with a number 10, I'm not sure if Thomas Tuchel wants to do that in the World Cup. If we play with a number 10, it has to be Eze. In my opinion, I think he's got everything. He can score goals, he can create goals, and he's got the legs, and he can run, and he's strong. He's got the power around himself. So, yes, we can get carried away. If a Tottenham fan there turning up to that game at the Emirates yesterday, if you're going to lose the game, please don't let Eze score, because he's someone who's you had in your door, and then all of a sudden he's been taken away and gone to your neighbour. For him to score a hat-trick was rubbing salt in the wounds. Credit to the boy. Didn't look like he was bothered with the atmosphere. He knows the noise surrounding that game for him. He just took it on his shoulders. And big players do that. You know, we just go, it's about me. I'm going to play in that number 10 position. If you asked all the fans watching in, where is a number 10 operate? Eze showed you where a number 10 operates yesterday. But Thomas Frank and the Tottenham players should have known he's going to be around that area of the D, central at the pitch, and try and eliminate him.
Well, I'll back that up because we'll bring you the shot map, actually, which shows exactly where it was. All of his shots there from pretty much the same place.
Yeah.
So if you're the Tottenham manager, which you once were, should you have been able to deal with that?
We got Bentancur and Paulinho, who their game is to break the game up. That's what they're good at. They should be operating around that area. They're probably leaving it to Mickey van der Ven and Romero and Danso, who played three at the back for whatever reason they did. And they're all leaving it to each other. But Eze knows the distances. He can work in tight areas. If you slide that ball, which Arsenal do, disguise pass, slide it in behind the midfield, he can get turned on his back foot and all of a sudden he's facing them. The defenders don't want to come out because if they do, he thinks the ball over the top like he did for Declan Rice. And if you don't come out to him, the midfield are trying to win the ball from the wrong area then. They're coming back towards their own goal. And he manipulates the ball, he uses his body and he gets his shots off. He's too quick, he's too clever. An outstanding performance from Arsenal and from that man, Eze.
What lessons can Tottenham learn, not from how to defend Eze, but the fact that they almost had him as a Tottenham player, and then he goes to their arch rivals?
Get the deal done. When you had an opportunity to get the deal done. Look at the players who have come in and operate, who supposedly operate in his position. Likes of Tell wants to be a number 10, or he plays out wide. You've got Xavi Simons, who didn't even play yesterday. You've got Odegaard. They waste so much money on these players who are 30, 40, 20 million pounds. And they just think, well, we'll develop them into top-class players. You're not. Look at the money there. Look at that money they've spent for them players. All right, Kudus has done OK. He's done OK. What's it, Eze? 67 million, one of these 65 million. You'd rather pay an extra 10 million for a make-the-difference player. You know he's going to be a make-the-difference player. Just get the deal done as soon as you can. Don't give the opportunity to other clubs hire you in the league to come in and nick your players. That's exactly what Arsenal have done. Tottenham should have done the deal. Get the deal done before Arsenal pick up the phone to Eze. Mikel rings him. He's in Mallorca. We saw the interview he done with Idris Edbra. And just say, come and join Arsenal. OK, come, put the phone down. Deal done, ring up Tottenham, say I'm no longer coming. How can that be? I think it happens time and time again. Save your money on average players, what you keep buying. Let the academy boys be the stocking fillers and fill up your squad and make the difference money on make the difference players like him. Like Semenyo now, go and get him, Tottenham. Don't wait for a Manchester City. Don't wait for Liverpool. Don't wait for Man United, whoever it is. Go and get him before everyone else comes to the party. Don't give him a decision then. It's frustrating. I think you can tell that.
Spurs supporter not so happy, I'd imagine, Alfie Nicholson. Right, Alfie, we will get to you, but I think we better start with Arsenal. Luke, are you getting your title celebrations planned already?
Not quite. Firstly, good morning, guys. Like I said earlier in the week, you can't get too high a game at a time. But obviously yesterday was a beautiful moment. You touched on it there, Eberechi Eze. And I think we can't understate as Arsenal fans what's just happened. You've got to look at the story, being released from Arsenal at 13 years old. And, a 14-year journey, not to score a hat-trick in the North London derby, but to put the Arsenal shirt back on. I'm 27 years old and it's a bigger message that you can go and achieve your dreams and aspirations and ambitions in life. And whether you like it or not now, Eberechi Eze isn't just an Arsenal player that wears the number 10 shirt, an iconic number 10 shirt. Eberechi Eze has now got a place in Arsenal history and folklore by scoring a hat-trick in the North London derby, the first time in Premier League history. So it was a special moment for him and his family. Obviously, we've seen videos of his mum keeping the shirt since he was 3 years old. And I can't imagine how he must have felt being on that pitch yesterday. And sometimes football is beautiful. It can be brutal if you're a Tottenham fan like yesterday, but it always has that capacity to write beautiful stories and scripts. And that was a real big moment yesterday. And whether that's, I don't know, we're writing a script about in May and April about the potential title, I'm not quite sure yet because there's still a long way to go. It is only late November. However, this is a group of players and a team that's won 15 games out of the first 18 this season. And like you mentioned, the squad depth, we can compete. And, when we have to rotate and miss players with injury, we seem to be doing that. And also yesterday, we didn't score from a set piece. So that's a nice little narrative. So brilliant day. North London derby means so much for us as football fans and supporters, especially Arsenal fans. So,
Luke,
yeah, really, really nice.
Luke, it must be a relief that this morning you're not coming on here and having to fend off questions about you're going to bottle it. You can't operate without Gabriel. I mean, you've ticked that box now. I mean, how impressed was you with Nketiah yesterday?
I was very impressed, and well, you say that. I still had people saying that City were the team to beat earlier in the week. So people still have their opinions about who's the favourites for the title, and that's absolutely fine. Football's a game of opinions. But you mentioned Nketiah there. I really want to shout out Mikel Merino because I thought his performance yesterday was absolutely amazing, especially playing that number 9 role, which isn't his biggest quality. He's more, better in midfield. And Leandro Trossard, again, another big game performance, another big game player. And you touched on it there, Tim, at the start of the show. We're doing it without our captain. We're doing it with our leader, Gabriel, at the back as well. Kai Havertz still got to come back as well. Gabriel Jesus. Noni Madueke, he has just come back. He played 15 minutes and Gabriel Martinelli wasn't used off the bench. So it's a squad with so much abundance, so much quality, and it's nice just to talk about the football. And it's nice for me as a fan not to go, well, if we would have had Gabriel or if we did have Odegaard, then we may have got this or we may have got that.
Yeah.
Whoever comes on that football pitch has got real, genuine quality, and that makes me really happy as a fan. Now it's up to us to carry on the momentum, go to Bayern Munich on Wednesday, play at the Emirates, and then go to Chelsea next week. But then even if we win those 2 games, then it's Brentford at home and Villa away, and then you've got to make sure that those performances and those results actually matter, because if you drop points against Brentford and Villa, then you're looking over your shoulder again. And that's
yesterday, Eze was brilliant yesterday. Let's quickly hear from him.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. Enjoyable day. Happy to help the team and to win today, especially, I'm grateful again, man. That's what I prayed for. I prayed for it today, man, a hat-trick, and I got it today, so I'm grateful to God, man.
I know it will have hurt to have lost a derby. It always does, especially when it's 4-1. But Eze was supposed to be wearing your shirt. And Tim was saying they should have just got that deal done and not given Arsenal a chance to sign him. He's gone to Arsenal and he's gone and scored a hat-trick against you. A nightmare for you. How much extra does it hurt because of that?
Yeah, I think every Spursman sort of agreed. I think you said it earlier, Tim. If we're going to lose the derby, do not let him score, let alone 3. It just makes it more embarrassing, and it rubs salt into the wounds. Not only was the result bad, the performance was bad, and then to compile it all as well, when you have someone like Eze, who should have really been a Spurs player. If you were really serious about signing someone that was going to make the difference in the 10 role, Eze was the best option in the market. We had him in talks, clearly. All the reports say that we were in advanced talks, advanced negotiations. Just get the deal done. He should have been a Spurs player. And then we paid the price for it. And hopefully that's sort of a sign for the future, really. We shouldn't allow this to happen, because otherwise the players that are the top players in the Premier League will go to other clubs and they will hurt us, like as it did yesterday.
And your goalkeeper, Vicario, said at the end of the game that you lacked fight. I mean, in a derby, that's unacceptable, isn't it? And do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree, and it's absolutely unacceptable. And to hear it come from a player is almost damning, really, because he should be the one sort of ensuring that the fight is coming from the players. He's one of the leadership group. He should be sort of pushing forward and saying, "Come on!" Like, I know he's in goal and he can't exactly show fight from in goal, but he's got his back line right in front of him. That they should be showing more fight. The 2 DMs, we sort of packed out the back line and then put 2 in front of them to ensure we didn't concede goals. We conceded 4. There was no fight with the midfield at all. They got ran over. Eze scored from the 10 position 3 times. That's 3 times that players are falling over themselves and unable to just try and get the ball off him. He danced through the back line for, I think, the 3rd goal. And things like that are unacceptable in any game, let alone a North London derby, when the fans, the players must know the fans care for this game so much. And they didn't reflect the sort of fight and desire that we wanted. And the players clearly know that, because Vicario wouldn't come out after the game and say that. So, yeah, it just raises questions for the future of the squad if they're going to keep putting fightless performances up like this.
Alfie, when you saw the lineup, did you worry?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew what the game plan would be. Is going to be trying to contain.
Yeah.
We've got a bench full of great players, great quality. Bergvall, Sarr, Simmons, Colomawani. I thought the idea was sort of hang on to 60th minute and then bring players on.
Are they great? You know, you say that, Alf. I know, sorry to cut you, pal, but Simmons, Colomawani, are they great players? Bergvall is all right. I mean, all of them are all right in spells. Are they consistent enough? Are they good players? Are they Ezes? No. You keep signing these players who you think, he shows it in fits and starts at their clubs. They've done it for small periods. They show moments, like Richarlison shows moments. He showed it again yesterday. But consistently, over a period of time, do you ever sign a player who you know is going to be a almost guaranteed performer, like an Eze? The answer's no, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's why there was so much sort of hype around signing Eze, because that was a rare sort of move towards signing someone like that. I'd argue perhaps Mohamed Kudus is come like that. He's come in and he's been a great signing so far. But I was my point was sort of in relative to the squad, that the players that we have that are the best. You can only use what you've got. The players that you have, you've got to use what's going to make the most impact in the games. And all the three players I'd probably signal out to make the difference in a derby game would probably be Mamani, Bergvall and Simmons. And all three of them were on the bench. And then Bergvall didn't even get on the pitch. And the other two didn't get on until the second half. So I just say it's sort of poor squad planning from the top down, really. But when you get to the position where you're in a North London derby, you can't go and sign a player then. You've got to deal with what you got. And unfortunately, as you said, I worried when I saw the back five because I knew what the game plan would be. Yeah. But I've watched the last 2-3 years with a game plan under Conte and Mourinho where they go and contain the match and try and nick it. I think that's sort of an outdated approach now. And if you're going to do that approach, you can't concede 4 and you can't lose embarrassingly because otherwise it just compounds a poor performance.
Why did you think he went with a back three? I've got a theory on it, but I'd like to hear what you got to say.
Well, my concern now is sort of the wider point that Thomas Frank isn't adapting quick enough from the Brentford approach to the Tottenham approach. And I think he sort of approached the game thinking, we know our squad is a little bit off Arsenal's quality and we'll try and stay in the game, try and contain it. And I think he thought, perhaps if we contain, we can hit them on the break. But we didn't have the players in the team to break. We didn't have the facilities to be able to hit them on the counter. We recorded like 3 shots or something ridiculous like that. And the goal came from a ludicrous, almost halfway line goal. We didn't have the quality in the squad to do that method that he was sort of planning out. And I think it was sort of a Brentford approach that he'd had previously, and it had worked. But he's not managing Brentford. He's managing a Tottenham side that are going to expect better. And I think he was perhaps, just worried about Arsenal and sort of thought, if we can stay in this game, that's a positive for us.
Luke, I've got time for one more question there. You've already mentioned Bayern Munich on Wednesday. Are you the best 2 teams in the world right now?
I'd say yes, actually. If you look at the current form, like I said, 15 wins out of 18, it's going to be a good test. Obviously, Bayern without Luis Diaz, we're probably going to still be without Odegaard and definitely Havertz. So it's a great opportunity. However, there is one eye on Chelsea, and this is the beauty of football. But yeah, to even ask me that question is a really nice moment, and that shows out just how the work we're doing under Arteta and the players. But unfortunately, you can lose the Premier League title in November, but you can't win it. So we need to carry on going. But yeah, it's been a beautiful morning, and it's been a beautiful week.
Yeah, the neutrals are very much looking forward to Sunday's game, by the way, Luke. Luke, Alfie, thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.